before you go on, I'd like to say the story because I know you're not going to say the story. I thought you were going to say the story.
Yeah, well, we have many stories.
No, that one stood out for me, and I'll tell you why. Because that one story made you say something that touched me, and I saw how emotional you got. Because that showed me that your perspective has changed on a lot of things. Just that one experience, and I always talk about the story because it genuinely did touch me. So this was our first couple of months of starting when we started dating, and we went to Nando's. I don't want to say where.
I think it's important that you say where because it's a predominantly white area, but it wasn't even white people. So
okay, it's predominantly white area, but it wasn't white people that did whatever to us. So when we walked in, so it's like glass, see-through, and we walk out of the car, and I held a hand, and we walk into the Nando's.
But they were sitting before that.
Yes.
And you know why I was even more shocked? Because in my head I thought they're looking at us because your car is making a noise. I never even...
No, but the car was making noise.
No,
the car was just flashing.
Yeah, like, I don't mean like a bad noise like you can hear when you pull up on a pavement because it's low. So I thought that's what they were looking at. Not once did it even hit me that they're looking at us because we do different colors.
So yeah, when we walked in, by the way, this is like probably like 2 or 3 Muslim families, Muslim colored families, because they were occupying like 3 spots.
Yeah, we were together though.
Yeah, well, it was a good 13-14 people I'm talking about.
So much?
Yeah, you were too emotional that day. And we walk in and the place just went quiet, like cutlery dropped.
Okay, don't exaggerate.
And it was like on some like...
Yeah, and I could feel that. I could feel it in my bones.
And personally, I've never experienced that. I honestly
Me neither. I didn't ever.
I honestly felt like I was in the 1960s or 70s or something. You
I
know,
was
and
so shocked.
People were staring at us like hectically. So we buying the damn chicken. Oh my gosh, it was a full chicken, so obviously we had to wait for like a while. So it was just awkwardly quiet there, like people were whispering, and it was really bad. And
they didn't hide the fact that
yeah,
they were looking, and I felt so ashamed because it was my people. Everybody is always questioning him if he's going to be turning Muslim and all of these things. Can you only imagine how I felt that I wanted to introduce him to my religion and I wanted to show him, yet there were Muslim people that were staring at us and making him feel like he was not even a human, as if I brought an alien inside of and we always make jokes, like he'll always be like, oh, they probably think I'm your gardener, and we'll laugh about it, but actually they probably are saying those things. Like, for me, I felt so ashamed inside. I felt like they were a representation of who I am, and I can only commend you on not taking that experience and thinking that is how it's always going to be, or that's how Muslim people are, or that's how Islam is. Like, I'm so grateful that he's not that person and that he's like smart enough to know that.
Well, I have honestly, I have your dad to thank for that mostly. He taught me, and he's still teaching me a lot about you guys' religion, the good side of it. And he'll always say that if anybody had to learn about Islam, they shouldn't learn it from a Cape Townian. They shouldn't learn it in Cape Town. He will always say that.
You should find Islam before you find Muslims.
Yeah. Oh yes, yes. That's how he says it. Exactly like that. Well done. So I keep that in mind a lot, and I keep in mind also that you are not like that. But anyway, back to the story. So when we eventually got the damn chicken that took so long, we got into the car, and these people, they didn't even eat their food. They were like staring at us, like,
at us.
And she actually wanted to do something, like say what or something. I was like, no, don't. We are gonna find that everywhere we go. So there's no point in reacting to this one group. Got into the car, and as we're driving home, and then you got emotional. And do you even remember what you said? And she said to me that what touched her the most was that she asked herself, was she like that prior to meeting me? Like, she started telling me things like, I wonder how I was before I met you. I wonder what I said before I met you. Or I wonder how I was reacting to black people when I met you, or interracial couples and all that. And that was a very good question, because that made me realize that this is not a problem that can be sorted out as easily as people think. You know, it's way deeper than that, and that just shows how you've been indoctrinated with something. You know what I mean? When something appears to be normal to you, it's not normal to the next person. You know, and I honestly, it wound me up having to see you realize that that one experience made you broaden up your own perspective. And it was a good lesson. It was a good lesson. If you didn't say anything, I probably wouldn't have taken note of that, because I've experienced that kind of behavior throughout my life. It's a norm for me. Do I like it? Obviously not, but it's a norm. I learned how to live with it. So hence I'm in a position to always calm you down when there's a text, when people are sending us messages or looking at us or saying whatever to you, you know. I'm able to bring you down to that level and not to respond to them or anything like that. And we should just take those experiences as lessons, you know.
This relationship has changed my life in so many ways, and I know it seems like we're talking about the struggles in our relationship, but the struggles in our relationship has broadened my perspective and has made me see things for actually what it was. I remember the other day I posted something on Instagram about the whole Black Lives, and I mentioned in there the little bit that we get, the racist thing, and the comments were very nice. I appreciated all of that. The comments were like, you're so strong for defending the relationship, and you guys are good together. Like, the comments were a lot like, oh, this is so cute, and we're proud of you for standing up for your relationship. And I feel like I appreciated it, yes I did, but I feel like it just flew past people's heads, because that's not what I wanted. I was only mentioning what we've experienced to show you how it triggered me to treat other black people better and to see what's happening in the world. And like this, we will never ever break up because we are different guys. We'll never be in an argument because we're different race. Like, I'm team Emmanuel, like, for the rest of my life, and I only use this relationship as a stepping stone or eye-opener to what's going on around the world. So even though we're talking about experiences in our relationship, this is not the problem. The problem is that we're still getting treated as though we are different, and he's getting disrespected because he's different to me. So, not trying to make it seem like we complaining about what's happening in our relationship, but just using it as a, how to explain, but yeah, that's me getting closer to him and me being in a relationship with him. That's just opened my eyes to a whole new world. Like, I always knew that racism was there, I just didn't ever experienced it.
At the end of the day, my angel, you need to have empathy for these people. You need to have empathy because for people who are racist.
Why?
I'll tell you why. They, just like you didn't know that there was another side of life up until you met me. There's people that are going to die out there that will never know what it was like to be on the other side or to even know about the other side. You understand what I'm saying? You were privileged enough to have access to a whole new world that you always emphasize that it's like, wow, you don't believe that a group of people can be like this. You got to know what Ubuntu is. You get to know what, the list is endless. You understand what I'm saying? And without even realizing, that is building us up. That is bringing us together, closer together, me and you. You know what I mean? And we have so much to talk about now. We have so much to learn. There's so much that we are... What's the word I'm looking for when you collaborate?
What?
There's so much that we can take from what we've learned from each other's cultures and apply it to our business and apply it to our goals, you know. And that is why I have empathy for the person that is brave enough to go on social media and diss a person because he looks different to him, or, you know what I mean, or show hate or express hate. And to me it's just like, shame, man, you don't know, you know. But if you did know, like, I know for a fact you would never now take your time and go and diss somebody because they look different to you.
Oh, never ever.
Do you know what I mean? Especially now, more now, yeah. Because, so, yeah, man. At the end of the day, once again, when we have RNI Raw, the goal is to get a message through, and hopefully somebody can learn something from a video like this. You know, don't let it fly by. And
it's not about our relationship. No. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
What did I want to say now?
You wanted to say that you love me, you never want to be without me, and that's not what you wanted to say.
No, I actually wanted to say, so from my side, if I were to give any advice, if you really want to make a change and you really want this issue to touch you, and you really want to know what it's like, befriend a black person.
That's simple.
Go to them, listen to these stories. No, I'm serious.
We're not that hard to find, like, we're all over, guys.
Listen to these stories and try and understand.
Yes. Before going on social... Ooh, this is a message to a lot of people. Before going on social media and say, I stand with black people, I understand, Black Lives Matter and all that, because you're gonna say something that's gonna be offensive and be on some... that's gonna expose that you don't really...
And it's been happening a lot.
And I feel sorry for a lot of people who have influence on social media.
Yeah, that's been forced to say something.
Yes, and then they end up saying the wrong thing or offending people because
they just did it now
for the sake of the movement, because it's trending.
And it's not to say that they are racist or that they're not supporting the movement. At the end of the day, you need to do something with respect first before you can put anything out on social media. Like a makeup artist, they're good at makeup, so they'll succeed in putting something like that out. A dancer, they'll succeed in putting dancing videos because it's who they are. This is not something that you sit every day and think about. Like for a non-black person, we don't sit there and think, you know.
I get what you're saying.
So it's harder to post about. So just allow people to find themselves with this whole issue, because also allow yourself, if people are expecting you to say something, just pull back a bit and try and think and educate yourself. And
very important.
Like I said, speak to black people, speak to them, ask them about their struggles, ask them, you know what, just ask them, how was somebody racist to you today? Because I can almost guarantee you that something happened today.
Yes, something happened to me today.
Like
before shooting this.
So with us, like even walking into the store, people would greet me and not greet him. People would look at him and be like, is that really your girlfriend? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Like how are you even okay with saying that? So do some introspection first and speak to yourself first, and only when you are in a good space with whatever's going on can you then influence another person. I took a long time to put something out on social media when the whole Black Lives Movement was happening, because then I thought back about, I have been doing this, and when I do call out people for their racism, people tell me I must ignore it, and it used to infuriate me so much that somebody would say ignore it. Like, how do you ignore somebody being disrespectful? Because it's not hate. People aren't being haters in the sense of they hate that we're succeeding. They literally being racist, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
So when I did post about the Black Lives Matter movement, I said something that was my truth. I didn't talk about something else. I spoke about my relationship and my experiences, because that was what I was experiencing, and nobody could tell me I was wrong for saying that, because I was true to myself. So to the influencers out there, I'd also like to say that your voice is important, but just make sure that it's the right one at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's your duty, it's all of our duty to speak up and to create awareness. But at the same time, this topic is so sensitive, and it's something that's happening to people.
Yeah.
So think about it a little more and then create your awareness. And to the people that's
do
waiting
thorough research, educate yourself.
To people that's waiting for influencers with 90k and 45k to say something, you yourself that have 700 followers, you yourself are an influencer. You can change. You don't have to wait for them. It starts with you.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll have more topics like this. This is something that
we can go on.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to say most of.
Yeah, that was only like what 2-3 stories that I shared, and there's like hundreds of them. But personally, I would just like to dedicate this specific video to people of color, mostly, because
black people.
No. People of color other than black.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I mean. We are all one. Whether your hair is straighter than mine, whether you have for some weird reason blue eyes, but you are still classified as non-white. If you live in a certain area, if you drive a certain car, whatever the case may be, if me and you look different but we are classified as non-white, we are one. This thing of having to say that it's okay to treat another human being a certain way because they look different to you, it's the wrong concept. Because I can tell you one thing, as a white South African, they don't have such issues. You find your Afrikaners and you find your English white person, you will never hear of segregation in that specific community. There might be a quarrel here and there because of family beliefs. We Afrikaans, we can't have what, but you don't hear of it. With us, when this gets together, it's a problem that does not make sense. If this was the 60s, I can guarantee you that me and her would be one color, you know. But in this day and age, in 2020, with all this COVID going on around, and you're worried about people coming together that looks different. Look, it's not something that we are going to change anytime soon. know that for a fact. Our grandchildren are probably going to experience this as well.
And you only imagine the fact that we have to explain to our children when 2025 probably, that even though she's different, she's still beautiful. The fact that I would have to utter those words to my child one day, like I would have to comfort her coming home crying because she's gonna look different. Can you imagine that conversation?
I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to imagine that.
And I'm sure it would trigger so much of your past.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, I'm actually grateful for, that you'll be able to educate her and show her your strength.
Who said we're gonna get to go, by the way?
Me. Well, whatever it's gonna be.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Wait, not done. I would just like to say, seeing that we're racing it to people of color, you do have a lot to learn from a black person.
We'll change your life.
I'll say.
We'll change your life.
We have a lot to learn from them, and I'm so glad to have met you and to meet your people.
I'm glad you met me, your people.
Okay.
Let's change your name to Tembi.
I like the name Karabo.
No. Can you imagine in the store, Karabo man? And people are like, and then you know, you must also start speaking like this when your name is Karabo. Emmanuel. Ooh, I can't imagine you calling me that.
Guys, do you know that you guys all know him as Emmanuel?
Yeah. Guys, please like, share, subscribe. We're not gonna do nicknames anytime soon. We love you. Thanks for watching, and please comment below. Let us know what your views are. If you're offended by what we said,
unfollow us.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, man. Let's use this platform to learn. We can discuss this. Share your views. We'll comment, message you back, or try to message you back. And let us. What did Tupac say again? I'm not gonna change the world, but I'm gonna spark the fire that will change the world. I think he said that, but yeah, this conversation is gonna spark the change. But yeah, subscribe to RNI. We love you. Thanks.
Bye.